Hey guys, good morning. It's Saturday, November 20th, 21st. And I don't know. I don't really have anything to say on this video. But I just felt like I should make one. I am, no, I actually do. I just want to say, like, me and my mom from the beginning, and my dad, I've talked to him about this, and then I've kind of sometimes, like, I do talk to her too much about it, but it's because I'm being very hurt and tortured. Um, and she's like, I've heard enough. I hear the same thing all the time. But she actually believes me. Like she'll stop me and be like, I do believe you. I just, don't want to hear about it right now. Everybody's got problems. So it's like she believes me, but she doesn't understand the severity of it. And I just want to say, like, that's such an important point to me that I want to drive in. I really want to drive it in to never give up on your family or your friends. Don't be like, oh, well, they don't believe me exactly how this is happening, so, I'm going to go away from them or something, because my mom has saved my life like 2 times, and she is even this new thing that came out from Q-Wave. It's a briefcase, and it's the power of like 2 to 4 tabletop defenders, but it works really fast, and you can bring it around with you. Um, and it's like $1,000. It's like 900 and something dollars. And like I'm kind of helping her out at her charity. Like I'm actually working for her. A lot of people have made me feel embarrassed about this, but while I'm like helping her because I can't really get a job because I'm waiting on Social Security, so I do as much as I can to help my family while I'm waiting on Social Security. Because I'm very afraid to go get like a job where I'm not helping my mom out or something like that, because they did torture me for 7 months, at my real job that was, giving people oxygen. I still did a good job, but it was still very, I don't want to say dangerous, because, I fought it good enough to where it didn't become dangerous, but it's not safe to do that for me, because this guy adds in torture. He doesn't care. He doesn't stop when I go to work or anything like that. So I want to work it another way. But I do want to say, like, I mean, she is buying me like this $1,000 equipment, that I can bring around. It's going to be very powerful, and I hope that it really helps. I'll let y'all know. Q-Wave stuff, the plates have really helped me. They buffered it out. They haven't made it disappear. I've had to keep up, but see, like, the problem that I have is I want to tell people about these defenses. Like, the plugs work. The Altera whole house plugs work. The other little plugs, the E-Link plugs aren't as strong, I don't think, but they still work. The Q-Wave defender plates, the personal defenders, these things work. They just don't work in total. And the problem is that if you use them, like say you get one plug, it might work really good for a week, and then you might feel like it stopped working, but that's not because it stopped working. It's because these guys are getting around it. They're either increasing the frequency, or they're either increasing the frequency or adding more emitters or more ground weapons or more power to the remote station. That's the thing, because I tell people, get a plug, and I've had some ladies, they're like, well, I got a plug and it worked for like a week. I think they sabotaged it because it stopped working. That was their stalkers, amping up the frequency or getting another emitter so that it could get past that, because they realize, when you're hurting and when you're not, and they know, I mean, they just know if it's working. They know if their stuff's being buffered or not. So when I say that equipment works, I've had to have an arms race with my neighbor. I haven't been able to get something, set it down, because I'm working against people who are messing with this equipment. So it works, and I've had times, oh my God, I've had heavenly times, which if I could go back to those times where I had buffered everything out, oh, I'd enjoy them so much more. I guess I didn't enjoy him enough, and I was like, oh, I got it, and then this guy has gotten other people to come help him, He's gotten other equipment. I'm pretty sure he has 2 remote stations, one in the back and one in the front. And that's scary because those things are probably really expensive. Um, but they do work. Those things do work. It's just the way I've had to use them. I've had to keep up with them. Like I put them down. They'll buffer it for like a month. I think the longest time I've had it buffering stuff was like for 2 months, really good. And then he's upped his arsenal. I see he's got generators outside of his house that go into his house. So more juice to these stations, I think, ups the frequency. It just ups the power of the frequency. So I've had to keep chasing it with plugs and plates. I'm holding on, but I actually did. I stayed at my parents' house because I've got 2 plugs and that new thing, and they should be coming to my parents' house today. They should be being delivered. That briefcase, I'm so hopeful about it because it has a modulating frequency. So I don't know if they can mess with the plates or anything like this, but this thing has a modulating frequency that should give it more. It should be able to fight whatever frequencies they're shooting at me even better. My main point about that, I guess there's 2 points. I tell people that stuff works, and I feel really bad because I don't want to be like, well, you gotta keep up with it. You gotta keep buying the stuff because people can't do that, and that's a big reason. Me and Mike talk about it a lot, and I think of him as my mentor. Like we talk about it a lot, and it's just like it works, but it doesn't. You got to keep doing it. You got to spend too much money on it, and he's right. You do. You have to spend. You got to keep spending. If I didn't have parents that loved me, that would do anything for me, I would probably be homeless now. I would be, chased out of the house. I wouldn't have any prospects. And that's my other point is that. I get angry sometimes about how my dad will just, go to another site. He'll be like, this guy's in your head. And he doesn't mean like the remote neural monitoring and the electromagnetic energy. He's saying it's my fault that I've let this guy get in my head. And that hurts. And I get angry, because he just doesn't understand. And it hurts worse because I feel like they did attack him. I'm like 100% on that. Like, you couldn't sway me from that. But it really hurts, but he doesn't understand it. And it's not his fault. And I love him, and he loves me, and he's helped me in so many other things. My mom actually believes me. I don't know if she believes everything I say, but she believes me more than my dad. Because she's just been around me more, I guess. I don't know. It's not that she's better than my dad or helped me more. They both help me. But she's gone out on a limb, and I've told her if I get this, it'll really help. And I'm really telling the truth. Like this briefcase thing, if I put it 10 feet around me, I could get such, a relief of the attacks. That it could really like allow me to have very happy times in this and very comfortable times in this. So I'm not lying to her, and I know it for sure. But she doesn't know it for sure. She's like, if it can help you to get to a normal life and do normal things, then yes, I'm going to help you out. And I guess my main point in that is like, my parents they're not totally like. I don't know, it's hard to say because they believe me, but it's a hard thing to believe. So they're both kind of like, they're helping me, but they don't know what to believe. And I'm fumbling on it because I want to tell y'all something. I want to tell y'all that just don't give up on people that love you. That's been the most important resource for me. Not the buffering stuff, not the, I don't know, what else have I used? That's the buffering stuff. Spirituality is still very important, but the people that you love, just not giving up on them, and they don't give up on you, and you got to keep that because these people want you isolated. Once you're isolated, the depression's worse. They get more control over you. If you have people that you're connected to, and don't drag them down. Don't talk about this all the time if they don't want you to. Try and understand that they don't understand. That if they knew the severity of this, they would be living with you. They would be working with you all the time, and they would spend all the time on this if they understood the severity. Because there is a separation in understanding, because they haven't experienced it. And my dad, even like when it first began, he came into the house to see if he could hear it. But since they're shooting it directly at my head, and it's very specific and localized and focused, he was like, I don't hear it. And even some of the high pitched stuff, I think he's to an age where that stuff he wouldn't have even heard. But I just want to say both of my parents are great. They both helped me in so many ways. My dad's also helping me on, getting my Medicare, fixing my car, doing all these things that keep me going. So it's not just been an important resource. It's kept me straight in my head and in my heart, that people don't give up on each other. And I don't know, there are a lot of target individuals, so I don't want to speak for everybody. There are a lot of target individuals that say their families are involved. Just really vet that so hard. And I know I've made a video about this before, but it's so important. And I really was just making a video. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. But vet that very hard, because what seems like gaslighting, because my dad would seem like a gaslighter. He's like, this isn't happening. You need to just get a job. That would seem like he's gaslit, but he's not. He cares about me. He thinks this is, I believe it. He believes that I believe it. So he's trying to get my mind off of it. He's like saying, move forward. You need to move forward and get a job. So he's not against me. And I think that maybe sometimes we're quick to say, oh, this person doesn't believe me. They don't believe everything I'm saying, and they're saying just go get a job. And we think of that as gaslighting. But I'd never think my dad is gaslighting or not caring about me or being involved. He thinks, he has a perception of this, that it's not happening, that I believe it's happening. So he's trying to help me in the best way that he knows how. And that's why this is so painful to families. Because my family members, they love me so much. Like, when I was, before the gang stalking, if y'all know that show Smallville, Clark Kent has a relationship with his dad. That's how my relationship with my dad has always been. This has hurt it. I mean, it's hurt it, but we still love each other and we still help each other. So I just want to tell y'all that carefully vet what your loved ones are telling you. And don't write it off immediately as, oh, they're trying to gaslight me. They're trying to make me feel crazy. Because sometimes they think you're crazy. You've got to understand that people don't see this technology. They don't know what you're going through. So they do. They think you're schizophrenic or delusional. And we have to be smarter. We can't be emotional about those things. We got to be like, well, nobody knows about this technology. We got to understand the situation. We've got to be aware of what's going on and understand there are people that still love us. Hang with them, knowing yourself that you're not crazy, but they may think that. Don't when you're doing things with them, don't keep that in mind. Just be yourself. And when you do that, eventually their heads start turning, and they're like, this guy, my son, I've been with him my whole life, and he's not crazy. And so my mom actually, we're talking a lot about it now. The thing that she works for, we have connections with the chief of police, the chief of the city police, and the head sheriff. So we're actually talking about making some moves. So it's like, maybe get my name off the list, or maybe talking to them about it and seeing what we can do, because my stalker has become extremely dangerous. Torturing me all the time, hurting my family. And at the beginning, it wasn't like that. But since I made these videos, I have this channel. I don't know if she watches my channel. I think she does, but she doesn't talk about it. She doesn't tell me. But she sees how many views, how many subscribers. last night I went on and just looked at like target individuals. I put that in, and I just went up and up, and there were just